Hello everyone, this is Mr. Larryman here, and what I have for you guys today is a relatively short and simple game of Rise of the Witch King. This one is very short, only about 32 minutes, and what I've been told is that this game, although not exactly competitive, is quite a funny one to watch. Some very funny shenanigans do happen in this game, and it is also a very short one, so we are bound to see a lot of pretty big throws. Without further ado, let's go into this game and see what it has in store for us. Now, it looks like Lazy Turtle is going to be on Arfidang with Headcrash on Aymar. We also have Cymax on Cardalin with Mihahas as the evil men. In the east, we also have Hoakin. I don't know how to pronounce the name, but I'd assume Hoakin. On Elves, and Vextor on Misty Mountains. We also have Erethan on Western Gondor. So not exactly a lobby full of the sweatiest pros in the community, but none of them are new, I would say. None of them are especially bad at the game, to my knowledge. I'm not super familiar with Vextor, though, so I might be wrong on that. Nonetheless, Headcrash and Lazy Turtle just facing off. It looks like there are no actual high-octane rotates in this game. Not yet, at least. I say that as Mihahas comes in from the bottom to siege down Western Rudar. Elves Arb is nowhere in sight. So it looks like Lazy Turtle is going to have to defend this by himself. But Mihahas actually recalls out. Not really sure why he would do that. And Hoakin does come in slightly late, but fast enough to do the Morgamir gank. Very well placed Argaleb shield right there. Caught Morgamir directly and almost perfectly. You can see that there was a small sliver of space there. If the force field was placed just a little bit further south, that would be the end of it. Mihazas is going to lose a medic pushing Eastern Tharbad. You have to be careful as EM not to accidentally push your medics in front. Lazy Turtle is going to lose Malvagil to that double Witch King charge. Seems that Lazy Turtle got a little bit too cocky after grabbing that Morgamir kill. Immediately turns it into a delayed trade for Headcrash with the Malvagil loss. This should make sieging Arfidane a lot more tolerable for Headcrash than it otherwise would be. Or would have been. Nenya is going to come out as Mihahas goes for Lothlorien from the bottom. So Evil does force Good to spend these 2,700 minerals, but it also does undo all of Evil's progress in the south of Lothlorien. And yep, with the weapon up on Lothlorien, it does seem like Mihahas is going to have to run back. Cymax continuing to make progress on Trollshaws. Not actually down yet. He was, I believe, devoting his effort actually defending Eastern Tharbad. Meanwhile, Erethan kind of missing in action. Where are the medics of Erethan as well? I don't actually see them in this ball. Never mind, they were just blocked by Lord of Penafgalen. He is not actually not using his medics. For a second there, I thought he actually left his medics back or even lost them, but no. He was just kind of blocking them with Lord of Penafgalen, not actually doing anything. I think he's been on max HP for at least 2 minutes at this point. Simon's got to be a little bit careful with the Huntmaster of Erenvorn. If he's not careful, he might run him into cannons and get him killed. But overall, pretty decent troll shots time, considering that he did have to start early defending Eastern Tharbad. Meanwhile, in the south, Mihaz is actually going for the martial counter Nardhan. Erethan coming in with full HP heroes, so even though he did not exactly do much of anything actually so far this game, he might be able to have a easier time at least attacking evil men here. Running through the fortified position, forcing the recall on Mihahas. Looks like Mihahas did not really want to take that fight. Maybe he could have won it, but with full HP Western Gondor heroes and the Marshal dead, there wasn't much of a need to actually stay there. Meanwhile, more just stalemating in the north. I don't think a single cannon on Western Rudar has actually gone down, only half the HP on this single one, so it's a very turtley matchup, despite Arfidane being down Malvagil, typically if Malvagil gets traded out for Morgamir, it does make the push on Arfidane a bit easier. It's arguable considering that Morgamir's confusion does actually speed up sieging quite a lot. Miaz is actually trying to go for Lothlorien, but this is an ill-advised push. All 4 of the cannons are still up. Miaz is not going to be able to do enough, and Chieftain of Dunland is also quite low. You have to be very careful not to lose him. Medics also get targeted quite a lot. Seems like an exercise in futility to really go for that spawn. Argalev running in with red HP, Karfang also with red HP. It's a triple trade Witch King for all 3 of Arfidane's remaining heroes. That could have gone a lot worse for Headcrash, but somehow Lazy Turtle, or rather, I don't think Lazy Turtle was ever close to really getting Kamul or Golf, but he might have been able to save most of his heroes. I don't know why he actually ran a lot of those heroes back in. Unless that was a lag. If that was a lag spike, I suppose that would make sense. Evanim is being gassed for Lazy Turtle. And then Wife Core for Evil Min. Barrow Downs for Cymax. And Emors for Vexter. We also, I believe... Oh, it seems like it's a Dol Guldur gas. I didn't actually notice the first gas. I believe this is the second gas on the spawn, to my knowledge. Although I might be wrong. Oh no, he actually one gas Amar, so after that full wipe of Arfidane, it looks like Headcrash is trying to go for the Dol Guldur. Hoakin just runs through his heroes, through all of Headcrash's heroes. Luckily, he doesn't actually have Witch King, so that definitely could have ended a lot worse for Hoakin if Witch King was still alive, but he is not. Hoakin doesn't really get punished for that kind of loss of attention there. Miha is continuing to stay around the central Enid Whiteframe camp. Cymax poking at it a little bit. And Mihahaz is forced to defend, although I say forced, he doesn't really need to defend here. I think he's just defending while he's healing in his downtime. But most of his heroes are already full, so he really ought to be moving out at this point. Meanwhile, Western Gondor has gotten basically nothing done in 10.5 minutes. At the very least, he hasn't lost his heroes, which is more than you can ask for with a newish player. I don't think Erafin is especially experienced. I do know that he's not new, though. Not fully new, at least. Lazy Turtle, a little bit sad, just sitting at the north with nothing to work with. Meanwhile, Vexter continuing to assault Elves, with Elves actually not having their Arbiter at Mirkwood. Mirkwood should be going down this push, especially since it is a double. Headcrash, devoting East might actually be a bad idea, considering that Lothlorien is Nenya, and yep, Chieftain of Dunland is going to go down there. It is rarely a good idea to push Lothlorien, especially when you're still on a 4-hero hero ball. You just don't have the strength to push through that. You're not supposed to be able to push through that. And especially with lower range heroes like the Chieftain of Dunland, they just get focused and die to the really strong spawn attack. It's 8 range, you have to remember. And even though it does deal a little bit less damage against heroes, it is a very, very significant threat when you are sieging Lothlorien. You have to be very careful. Fortifications are being stripped down on Dunland, and Lazy Turtle again just sitting in the front, not really doing much. Arathan trying to get Wainwriter down, and Wainwriter is now being gassed by Mihahaz. Mihahaz is actually following Headcrash into this Eastern build. He is also swapping his build. Meanwhile, we finally have Arvadui out for Lazy Turtle, so he is back in the game. He can do at least something here. And I believe the play now for good is trying to siege down the frontal cannons of Dol Guldur. They're trying to commit for that. Cymax doing good work, although he is not actually helping the do a triple on Dol Guldur. He is instead going for Dunland, which is not a terrible decision here. Maybe a bit better communication would have helped, but it's definitely not a bad choice regardless to siege Dunland while this is happening. Headcrash is stuck in the 2v2 now. Erafin has his Arbiter here, and yep, he is going to actually reinforce this push. with perpetually full HP heroes, Erefin just never actually read. Quite interesting. Mihaha's not actually coming in to help Head Crash here. Instead, he's... Oh, Arvidu getting body blocked on all of the Elven heroes goes down. That was a bit of an unfortunate happening for Lazy Turtle. And now Mihaha's is here to defend the Dol Guldur. And that is the end of this double. Erefin not actually moving his special transport. He might be losing it here if he's not careful. But Hwaken is in the area to respond. Thranduil might be vulnerable here, but Mihaha's is going to have to trade out for Khan. Khan got caught a little bit too far out. But Doran does go down. The shield got procced by the Dol Guldur cannons. So it was not for nothing at the very least. Yeah, as Mihaha says, it wasn't the best trade, but it could have been worse. That is a good way to frame it. Wing Rider's gas has been cancelled. It looks like Mihaha's has chickened out of the East build commit. Now it's just Dol Guldur. And really, with a gimped Arfading, I think Head Crash can just up his main spawns and it would actually be a better choice for him. Regardless though, this is the situation that Head Crash finds himself in. Mihaha's might be getting... Yep, Minglar does go down here. Just caught a little bit too far out and recalled a little bit too late. Vexter actually grinding money off of Mirkwood cannons, not really doing a ton outside of Mirkwood, but at the very least, in this type of more static game, you don't need to be super rotational as Misty Mountains. You will get Cause of Doom down eventually, after all. Lothlorien is being gassed as well. Mihaha is going down for the rotate on Nardhan. Ernir actually bought him on Onwars, so we might be seeing a Mardil this game. A Mardil that will never lose HP again. Every single time I pan over to Erefin, all of his heroes are full HP. It is not exactly... You know, you might think that that's a good thing, but really what it means is that Western Gondor is not actually pushing at all and never actually doing anything. You remember, any downtime where you have a full HP heroes is completely wasted time. Rise of the Witch King, in some kind of a way, is a game about managing your time, managing... if you think of pushes as a finite resource, you need to... you only have a finite amount of pushes, for example, in each stage of the game, and you need to be doing stuff with those pushes. And if you frame your gameplay in that kind of mindset, I found that it does help you become a more active player and kind of waste less time dilly-daddling and not really doing anything. Head Crash and Vexter going in for the double on Hwaken, but Hwaken is actually defending this quite well. He isn't actually losing a ton of heroes, or hero HP, I should say, or mass even. Only a handful of cannons in the front, delaying evil quite well. But the problem is that in this sort of lobby with basically an AFK Western Gondor, to be honest, delaying evil isn't actually enough, because although typically if you delay evil, the miners will kill evilmen faster than the evils kill you, and it would be a favorable play for you to make. In this lobby where Western Gondor basically doesn't exist, it's a 3v3, and delaying evil doesn't actually help you at all. You're just falling more and more behind. And this is by no means a fault of Hwaken, really it's just luck of the draw. But hopefully we might be seeing a bit of a turn around for good here. I am kind of rooting for them now. They are kind of the underdogs. But Thranduil might be going down here, and yep, runs Thranduil just a little bit too close to all of the range heroes of Misty Mountains. Thranduil was actually so close that he was touching a lot of those flying heroes. And as the lowest HP hero on the Elven Hero Ball, he didn't really last that long. Walder gets targeted by Erefin, and full HP Adderhill goes to 0. That it looks like Erefin is quite an inexperienced player, to say the least. Meanwhile, Head Crash is, at the very least for good, going to be chased away by Erefin. Hwacken, I believe, is the last real player on the good team that can really do anything. Aerothin just kind of lost Adderhill for nothing, and with only 2 heroes to his name, he won't really have much power to speak of at all to really contest Evil Men. Hwacken is really the only player left that actually has any resources to speak of. Any concentrated DPS that he can utilize. Mihaha is continuing to push white, and most of the good team has actually left at this point. Cymax and Lazy Turtle, and I'm not sure if... Did Aerofin also... not Aerofin, did Hwacken also leave? That's a maybe. I think Hwacken also left. Mihaha is now just running down Aerothin, and yeah, Lord of Pentagalen does go down in this fight. Loot Lord is also not going down, and that's Earn Your Dead, so... Aerothin, a bit of a new player, it does seem. Hasn't really done anything all game, and then dies to the first engagement. But 10 minutes left on the clock, and Headcrash says that... I should say that this had some pretty funny turnarounds. So let's actually see what happens in the last 10 minutes of this game. Aerofin does seem to be sticking it through, waiting in the game until the last spawn falls. Although maybe not this last spawn, after all, there's only 9 minutes left. Miha's actually just leaves immediately. It looks like he doesn't want to actually deal with this. He doesn't want to have to finish off good with a stubborn Western Gondor not wanting to leave. And now, bit of a lull in the fighting. Not really much to do anymore. Evil could just AFK now and just scale and wipe good spawns one by one in a slow versus AI game. Let's increase the speed a bit here and see what actually happens in these last 10 minutes. Lothlorien is going to be pushed. Now, Nenya is still alive here, so it's still going to be quite a struggle for Evil to attack. And Vexter also leaves the game. Now it's just Headcrash versus Aerothin. Evil basically won this game, but maybe Headcrash won't be able to actually carry through and finish Western Gondor here. We'll have to see. Aerofin continues to go up, rallies all of his mass into the Elven Hero Ball. Carlin stuff is still here, but it looks like he does not actually know of his existence. Headcrash brings all of the evil heroes into this choke and starts attacking. Celeborn does go down, not really much to show for it. Lothlorien is being focused now. Glorfindel also goes down, again, not really much to show for it. And what exactly is happening for Aerothin? Not much at all. I don't see any of these evil heroes being focused at all. Lothlorien's attack did not get focused at all. I think he did click Galadriel at the end there, but again, not really much happened because of that. Now he's left with 3 healers to his name and nothing else. But beacons are lit. Martel is actually coming out for him, so maybe with 5 minutes left on the clock, Aerofin has very little chance of contesting a Headcrash for the rest of the game. Lothlorien does get the spoiled for Headcrash. Ren is a bot for Headcrash. Captain of the Guard of the Citadel actually comes out for Aerofin. Maybe we can get something here. Who knows? Further low in the fighting. Let's increase this up to 4 speed now. What is Evil's end-game plan? Or Good's end-game plan? What is Aerofin trying to accomplish here? What does he think he can do to turn this around? Aerofin does actually call GG. And, oh, he just leaves. So, I think Headcrash just kind of sent in this game with a really long kind of bout of nothing at the end. Fair enough. And yep, that's it. that is this game. Fairly uncompetitive. This kind of just showcased a really unfavorable trade for Arfidane that kind of spiraled out of control. And it's a pretty good example of a kind of mid-tier pub lobby, maybe mid to low tier, considering some of the players were basically new. But you know, we do see a ton of kind of high tier rise on this channel. So it's always kind of nice to take a step back and realize that high tier rise is the only rise that gets played. We also have less competitive rise with all of his twists and turns and subversions of expectations. I really thought there would be something in that last 10 minutes, but apparently not. I think Headcrash just stayed in the lobby for a bit. And yeah, GG. And as a final note, Headcrash was the person who actually sent in this replay. Thank you to Headcrash.